Now let us study the occupational structure of India. So we know that every economy has three sectors. The first sector is the primary sector. Primary sector usually comprises of agriculture and other related activities. The next sector that we have is secondary sector, which comprises of manufacturing. And the next sector or the last sector that we see is service sector. So now we have seen that almost 85% of the people live in rural areas during the British rule, and they used to practice agriculture. Apart from that, when we talk about secondary sectors, there was systematic deindustrialization, which means industries were decreasing and service sector had no scope in India. So during the colonial period, the occupational structure of India, that is nothing but the distribution of workforce among different sectors or industries, showed a little change. So during colonial period, that is during the British rule, the occupational structure of India, that is distribution of working person across different industries and the sectors, showed a little sign of change. Now what was the change? Agricultural sector accounted for largest share of workforce. Now when we talk about India, we still know that India is an agrarian economy. Agrarian economy means the people of India are dependent on agriculture as their occupation. So the agricultural sector accounted for largest share of workforce, which usually remained high at 70 to 75%. So still also we can see that agricultural accounted for 70 to 75%. Okay, while the manufacturing and service sector accounted for 10 and 15 to 20% respectively. So the manufacturing sector had only 10% of total Indian workforce working. And the main reason for this is there were no industries. There was no industries in India. Even existing industries were closing down. This was because of systematic deindustrialization. And when we talk about service sector, almost 15 to 20% of the people were dependent on service sector. So what comes under service sector? Usually we talk about business services, that is banking, transport, warehouse, trade, that is buying and selling of goods internally, buying and selling of goods internationally, which is import, export, etc. So this was the status of India's occupational structure, wherein the largest share of the people were dependent on agriculture. And the main reason for this was majority of people were living in villages. So villages had no development, and hence people were forced to choose agriculture and other related activities as their occupation. So the agricultural sector accounted for largest share of workforce, which remains to 70 to 75%. While manufacturing sector had 10% of the total India's population or total India's working population, and service sector had 15 to 20% of the people in the total workforce.